got back from the company trip, the producer trip last week. It was really great, a lot of fun. We'll share some videos. I hope the purpose of that is twofold, right? To reward good producers that are doing a good job for a long period of time. And the second thing is to really build relationships, spend some time with each other. And that was always my most valuable takeaway, was being able to spend time with people outside of the office, doing fun stuff, building lifetime, long-lasting relationships. Going into this week, I was watching a movie with my son last night. He's really into Westerns all of a sudden right now. And we were watching Open Range with Kevin Costner. And there was the opening scene that they're all sitting there playing cards under the rain. And one of the guys, the young, like, rookie cowboy, he's kind of cheating at cards. And Kevin Costner gets mad, quits playing. And then the other old guy, Robert Duvall, tells him, a man's trust is too valuable a thing to waste on a game of cards, you know? And it really sparked something to me that I've been thinking about a lot. We've talked about it in these sales meetings before, but we're having a little bit of an issue with images with brokerage or with brokers in the industry, and regulators are really having issues with agents. In fact, Dr. Oz at his confirmation hearing or his Oval Office meeting with the president, one of the things he highlighted was 250,000 ACA people who had been enrolled by, he called them, bad brokers who had fraudulently enrolled people in ACA plans. Now, I know that's none of us, that's none of our agents, but I've just been thinking about some sales integrity issues with people, and that's kind of what I wanted to start with for today's sales meeting. There's also, I'll take it back. Brian and I actually met working at Comcast in 2003. And we knocked doors. We did door-to-door sales, and we would sell cable TV, internet, and phone service. And when you sold all three of them together, it was called a triple play, right? It was like, maybe even today you hear that, and that was like a good sale. You got a 3-in-1. Well, I'd been doing sales for 6 or 7 years now. Brian and I made that company, literally millions and millions of dollars over our sales careers there. And I really liked it. I was good at it. I recruited a lot of people. My brother Dan worked there. Seth Cottle, that's here now. I probably recruited 20 or 30 people there during my career. And I felt like I was really good at sales. Well, one year, all of a sudden these people started reporting their sales like we show on the leaderboard. And these sales were 2 or 3 times what I was routinely selling as a high producer, right? And I started saying, this is freaking BS. And we would start complaining to our sales leadership, like, hey, these numbers these guys are reporting, there's got to be something wrong. They can't be doing it the right way. There's no way that you can be selling that much. And we were assured, oh no, they've looked into it. These are all legitimate sales, right? Well, this one time, let me get my sales leader thing over here. This one time we were having a sales blitz. And basically the sales blitz was you'd meet at like 9 in the morning on a Saturday or something. And usually it was when the company was low on their quarterly numbers and needed to make up some sales for the share price, right? So I don't remember what it was, but I'd kind of been into this career 6 or 7 years. And I decided, hey, I'm gonna go all out on this blitz. And I'm gonna show these new guys with all these crazy sales how it's done. And usually their sales incentives sucked, and I wasn't really motivated by the actual prizes or the rewards or whatever, but for some reason, this one was good, right? It was some prize that I wanted to win. So this Saturday came, and I worked my butt off. I worked from like 9, 10 in the morning till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, knocking doors all day, and I had a really great day. I sold 16 lines of business, or what they called revenue generating units, RGUs. And that was 4 triple plays and 2 double plays. And I was just thinking, king of the castle, And we met for this end of the sales blitz that night, and they announced the winners, and they're like, coming in at 5th place, Mike Hartle. And I was like, 5th place, what the hell? How could I possibly have 5th place, They start announcing these numbers, and the winner had 29 lines of business, 29, and this guy's name was Rob. And they're like, Rob, with the greatest day in sales history. And I'm like, this is bullcrap. Like there's no way. I'm like, I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years, and that is not physically possible. It takes, a sale like that takes a good 45 minutes to an hour. That means this guy's just going from one to the next, doing nothing but closing sweet business all day long for 10 hours straight, Oh no, man, we verified it. We ran the report. They're good. So I'm thinking, oh man, I'm just not as good as I thought I was, right? Well, the months go on, and this guy, he ended up making a lot of money, like 200 grand this year. And this was like 200 grand in 2007, which is a lot of money, inflation, whatever. Well, all of a sudden, come to find out, this guy was frauding the company. His sales weren't real. And him and a bunch of these other guys, these new guys that were high salesmen, what they'd figured out was we'd got these new iPads, and they'd figured out that they could go to existing customers and they could cancel their service on the spot and set them up as a brand new customer with the same equipment and give them a brand new promotional price, right? So they were going to all these current customers that were already paying customers, paying full price, and they were going to the pitch was, hey, I can just hook you up and reward you for being a good, loyal customer. I can put you back on this promotional price, the introductory price, and just do it right now. How good does that sound, right? So you're taking people from paying the company $150, $200 to like an $89 price. So they were literally stealing revenue from the company, setting them up with a new, lower price, and then getting paid a lot of money on top of it, right? So I was right. And usually if something seems too good to be true, it generally is, right? And so why is Mike telling me about this guy? I promise you that long term, salespeople may think they're getting away with something, sales reps, agents, whoever it may be, but in the long run, you're always going to get caught. You're always going to get found out, and it's never going to benefit you. I've never seen one instance in my entire career of 25 plus years doing sales where somebody's done things in a dishonest way and it's worked out for them long term. It always catches up to you, all right? So why is Mike talking about this? What does this have to do with sales? Well, I take it personally. There was recently a situation with an agent, and some things came to light where there was a lot of abuses taking place, and it's abuse of the company trust, company money, company resources, stealing incentives, stealing awards from you all, harming our beneficiaries, harming the industry at large, and we take it personally. It's the company's money. It's my brother's money. It's Dan's money. It's you all's incentives and things like that. And I promise you that no matter how long you think you're going to get away with it, when you're cutting corners and you're not doing things the right way, it's always going to come out. It may take us a little bit longer to figure out what's going on, but it will always come to light. And so I don't think I should have to say this, but integrity matters. And I promise you, whether you believe in God or the universe or karma or integrity, if you are doing things with integrity and doing things the right way, it will come back to you many times throughout the course of your life. And there will never be a situation where you can do things dishonestly or cut corners or harm people, and it will work out for you long term. It will always karmatically, energetically, spiritually come back and haunt you. I promise you. So do things the right way, okay? We all have a fiduciary duty as insurance agents, right? I got into it on LinkedIn with somebody the other day about, how agents need this, need to be corrected, need blah, 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 blah. We all are licensed by the state entities. We have a fiduciary duty, which is a legal obligation to do what's right and do no harm financially or otherwise to our clients. And I think that's really stupid, that there even has to be a fiduciary or legal duty, because guess what? You should already have integrity and loyalty. And that's a moral, non-legal motive for doing these things. So no matter what you're doing, even if it costs you sales, even if it costs you money in the short term, if you have to give up on a sale, I promise you, long term, it will always benefit you for doing business the right way. And if we find out that you're harming consumers, that you're shortcutting it, that you're doing things non-compliant, that you're cheating the system, that you're stealing money from the company, that you're doing, we will take action on it, right? And it personally, it's hard to not take it personal as, an owner, as a sales leader, because I care. I care about the business. I care about you all. I care about the beneficiaries that we're doing things with. And so there's just not ever going to be, any sort of acceptance for that. And so that brings me up to this. This is what I've always called, this is a sales raptor, right? And does anybody remember the first Jurassic Park movie? Well, there's that scene where they're introduced to the raptors in the pen, right? And they're feeding it, and they have to be kept in that really high security container. And they ask the question like, well, why are they not in the wild? The raptors are always testing the fences for weaknesses. And so that's what I say affectionately that salespeople are like, right? They're sales raptors. They're always looking for the weaknesses in the sales processes, in the comp plan. Like this guy that I was talking about earlier from Comcast, he was a sales raptor. He found the weakness in the system and exploited it until he couldn't one day. So don't be a sales raptor, all right? You get this cool looking velociraptor in a sales suit. Do it with honesty, do it with integrity, and I promise you that it'll come back to you many, many times over. Do it the right way. I guarantee that every one of you feels good after you've helped a beneficiary. I've had people in tears because they really felt like I clarified something to them that they didn't understand, that I was able to help people with their health and wealth. That's why I love this industry so much. That's why I'm passionate about it, because there is no other sale or no other thing where you can get paid to help somebody. And mostly what we're doing is Medicare Advantage. We're not even asking for a financial transaction, right? We're never asking, for the most part, for a credit card, for a bank account information. What other sale or consultative business is like that? There isn't any. And so this is a really great opportunity to be able to help people with things they care about with their health and wealth, and be highly compensated when you do it in the right way. And so that's what we want. We want good, honest agents that are going to be, getting business by doing a great job and by getting referrals. So no sales raptors. That's it. That's what I got for kind of the motivation piece. But just do a good job, guys. I promise it'll come back to you. It's not going to. If you are on those sales encounters and you have is it Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio? Is that the guy? Dating myself to even know that. But like the conscious, when you're like, hey, this is probably not a good sale, or you probably shouldn't go ahead with this. Listen to that. Clarify things. If we've all been in those sales encounters where there's that like lingering question, that unresolved thing that you want to sweep under the rug, don't do that. Address it. Make sure those clients all understand everything thoroughly. Do a good quality job, and the way that it works, the law of abundance will reward you many times over throughout your life and your career if you do things the right way. Trainings and updates, guys. Moving on, let's, just a reminder, Effectuation. Our Effectuation is getting better as a company with the efforts that you all are doing. It wasn't just an agent boost issue going on in the industry. It was a industry-wide thing. This last AEP, we saw 26% of everybody on Medicare Advantage plans changed. And what we're hoping for in the industry is a lot more consistency, a lot more stabilization, and much less chaos, much less changes, okay? So make sure you guys are acting like agents with a fiduciary duty. You're not just an enroller, right? You're not just trying to sweet talk somebody into giving you a yes and listening to disclaimers and crossing your fingers and hope that, it doesn't accrete or not go into effect, right? Make sure their meds are covered. Make sure they know what to expect next. Make sure you're checking their doctors. Make sure if their doctors aren't in network, that they know how that'll function, how you can help them find another doctor. Go through those things. Be thorough. Again, if your enrollments are sub 20 minutes and you got Jiminy Cricket in your ear going, hey, this probably isn't that good of an enrollment, or you're sitting with somebody face to face and there's those unspoken questions, those elephants in the room that you don't want to address, do it. I promise, by just clarifying those things, even if it's, a sales obstacle, something that needs to be overcome, it'll benefit you in the long run. When you're done with the client, do they know why they're joining or enrolling in this plan? Could they articulate it to somebody else? Again, does this pass the parent test? Does it pass the spouse test? Are they able to explain to their adult children or to their spouse why they're enrolling in this plan, what it's going to benefit them, why they should do it? If they're not, you probably did a poor job, a poor enrollment, and you need to go back and fix it. We're doing a good job on effectuation, on following up on these policies. Our campaigns, 3, 30, 60, 90, we're doing some cool things with automation and you all to help those things come along. Again, pipelining and lead management, guys, this has been a huge emphasis for us. We're going to keep talking about it. Make sure you're managing leads, right? We're not always going to close somebody that with the first encounter, whether this is on the phone, in person. Build a pipeline of evergreen good lead sources that you can follow up with consistently. It's especially those individuals that are turning 65. Make sure you have a really good process to walk those people through them aging into Medicare, explaining to them how you're going to be their guide, how you're going to help make this complicated process really easy. Follow up with those people, and it's going to be a really good thing for you all to start each new month with 10 to 12 enrollments already teed up, ready to go. All right? Who is now using the CRM like this with pipeline management, with lead management, now that they weren't doing it prior? Anybody? No? You were all doing it prior? Cool. Liars. So make sure, priority leads, right? Follow-ups, pending scheduled appointments, in progress, waiting for eligibility. These are actually people that are waiting for their Part B. If you don't know how to work those properly, make sure you ask your sales leaders to get a really good process to work those new enrollments. Reminder, guys, again, the community center. We've been putting a lot of stuff here in this community center. I just talked to Nico. We're going to be building like an AI bot that answers all Medicare questions into here as well. So you're going to have two resources. You're going to have all the collective wisdom of the humans in Slack, and you'll also have this bot tool that's going to be built in here as well. So all of our trainings, all of our resources, we're going to keep putting those here in the community center for internal and external agents working in the office. Remember, we got DST, that we can still use that sparingly. Have we had a lot of problems with finding SEPs, or has it been okay?
Been okay-ish.
Okay-ish. Has it been as bad as we were thinking, or not quite as bad?
Not as bad.
Not as bad? Okay, good. One more thing here. We're going to keep doing more trainings on these indemnity plans, for all of you, on the golden rules, the all states. I still think there's a lot of runway and a lot of need for a lot of those type of plans, and they're going to be additional commission opportunities, additional opportunities to give our beneficiaries quality products that they actually care about, that they want to get more coverage. When I was actively selling, I was always frequently asked, what else can I get? Or is there any other insurance? Is there any other policy? In general, people want some of these extra policies. They want some additional coverage if they can afford it. And I promise you, at Agent Boost, we'll only ever offer you all as agents good quality products that we want to stamp our name on, right? That we feel good about. And kind of our general rule is, if we'd put our own family members and our parents on those plans, then we feel comfortable offering them to our consumers, our beneficiaries as well. Kind of just have some old stuff in here. Reminder again, guys, new agent bonus, $500. Once they've completed 15 of any type of enrollment, we'll pay out that $500 referral bonus when they become active. We have this elite agent training. It's the following week. We bumped it. Okay, so I was acting hesitant. Ended up being that Dan and I got called out to United Healthcare's headquarters in Minnesota that same exact day, so we're bumping this back a week. 13th and 14th. I love it. Already, reminder, guys, Grand Cayman for next year, this qualification has already started as of April 1st effectives. I have a preliminary report. I'll do a lot better job of getting that out to everybody transparently in all the Slack channels so you can know where you're at basically every week. And the way it's going to work, we had it at 750 points. We just kind of bumped that up because there's going to be a lot of people way over that. There's already people, well over 100 points already. The qualification period is through the March 1st effectives of next year. So it's basically an 11-month qualification period. And it's just going to go off of the top 10 point earners. So each year we try to learn a little bit from our structural mistakes. But I really hope all of you take this seriously and want to try to come to these trips, because if you ask anybody that comes to them, I think they'll tell you. Sean, I think you're one of 3 that have been to all 4, right?
Yep.
How are they worth?
Yeah, they're incredible. So worth it.
Yeah. So this one will be Grand Cayman. Again, guys, WellCares are 5 points. Humanas are 2.5. Golden Rules in all states are 2. If I'm you all, huh?
It's 160 WellCare, that's it.
Yeah. If I'm you all, what's the best way to earn points?
WellCare.
Right, WellCare.
Yeah,
Guys.
Golden Rule in all state to it. Yeah.
Couple of things while I'm on this. If you pay attention to industry news, who won AEP last year? Who wrote a shizload of business? UHC, United Healthcare. Does anybody know how many lives they added last year during annual enrollment? How many net increase? It was about 550,000, okay? Well, let's put our thinking caps on. They were patting themselves on the back, doing victory laps. We crushed the competition. Is the funding environment really good right now for these MA plans? Are they all thriving and making tons of money? No. So if they added a lot, what happens? If people are looking to jump from one plan to another, are they generally healthy and satisfied, or are they maybe more the needy side of things, always looking for lower cost, better benefits? Yes. Just this last week, I don't know if you all saw, but United Healthcare stock dropped about 25% in a single day because they're announcing, surprise, surprise, all these 500,000 people they just brought on during annual enrollment are costing them more money. The risk portfolio and the cost to manage those lives was a lot. So their quarterly earnings were worse than they'd been in decades. So am I trashing United Healthcare? No. We love United. They're great. They're awesome. We like them for all the same reasons you all as agents like riding them. However, we try to explain to you all some of the nuances and some of the business strategy with a lot of these carriers, and the market economics when we put together incentives and trips like this and comp plans and things like that. United Healthcare doesn't need to do all those things because, like I just said, they just added 500,000 lives when they didn't necessarily even want that during AEP. So we have other partners and other carriers and other growth initiatives that we try to focus on and place business with them if and when it's a great fit, right? That's why we have different teams that have access to selling different carriers in different areas. That's why we have incentives and comp plans there. It's not because we're trying to swindle particular agents to write one carrier more than the other. It's that there's different market economics all across the country where we're trying to place business with carriers. And some of those carriers are in growth mode. Some of them want to grow in certain areas, and some of them have different market economics or compensation that allow us to do things like this, right? And so I've heard a common, I don't know if I'd say a complaint, but hey, why are points not counting for this carrier or this carrier? That's the exact reason why, right? Is there's not the economics of it, the dollars and cents of it don't work like that, okay? So you don't want to write if you're an independent agent, and if you're Sean or any of these other independent guys and you don't want to write any WellCare or Humana, that's cool. That's great. We appreciate that business. You're you're your own business operators, but you're probably not going to go on a trip, right? Because the market economics just don't make sense for that. Shout outs this last week. I don't know if these guys were fixing some business or they just had some, some crazy, yeah, I was like, those are Rob Case numbers. Just kidding. They're great job, guys, fixing some stuff, showing up in the CRM. But again, consistent, good production. These are good numbers for a random week in the middle of April. And I'll tell you one thing that Dan and I looked at was when most of leadership for the whole company is out of office last week, we look and go, who are the leaders, right? Who are the people in the company that step up and are productive? Who are the sales reps and the agents who are doing a good job when leadership's kind of out of office and out of pocket, not paying attention, right? So really appreciate all your time and attention for effort for those of you who stepped up. I keep saying this, but I am going to do a much better job of like communicating and rolling out and following up with all the incentives that we have going on. There's just been a lot of chaos and a lot of systems and number checking that we need to do. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that with the concert series here in Utah and stuff like that. We'll be handing out or delivering on a lot of those rewards as well this week. So I'm also, this is, last one, Q1. We still have this on here, but I'm open to any other incentives that you all want with your sales leaders, anything that motivates you. We put out surveys before, and it's kind of all across the board. So I'll probably do that again, just kind of see what moves the needle. Different humans are always motivated by different things besides money, right? Everybody's motivated by dollars. In addition to that, Sean he'll move mountains for lunch, so I love it. Any questions, guys? You guys are awesome. Appreciate you.